Hey friends, before you go on that green card, things are starting to get really interesting with U.S. immigration. Can Donald Trump give you a green card? Hey guys, before you file for your spouse, All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to be with you today. We're going to have our live Q&A. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law. Come on in and say freedom now, freedom now. This is actually my last live session of the year. It just dawned on me. I will not be with you guys next week. I will take a break and I will be back before you on January 6th, on Monday, January 6th. So come on in, say freedom now, guys. We're going to have a wonderful time together today. Hey there, Kwaku. It's great to see you, Indira, and everyone. Thank you. Come on in. Come on in. Friends, our contact information is scrolling below. Of course, you can reach us at 914-898-9488 to book an appointment with one of our attorneys. Hey there, Festus. Good to see you, David. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy holidays. Before I forget, I hope that you guys will have a wonderful, wonderful rest and peace. Hey there, Andrea. Good to see you. Thank you. But before we get into some immigration questions, guys, I'd like to cover something really important that is brewing in the world of immigration news. And we covered it on Friday in our newsletter, and it has to do with Oklahoma. Oklahoma, if you've heard about what's going on in Oklahoma, just type in, yeah, I've heard that. Let us know your thoughts. My colleague from my team is also in the chat. Okay, she's moderating for us today. Let us know your thoughts on this, guys. But Oklahoma is taking very aggressive steps to begin counting. They'd like to, this is just a proposal at this point, they'd like to begin counting the number of children who are part of their public school system who are not U.S. citizens and those who do not have a legal status, not green card holder or a U.S. citizen. And this is, in my view, I think other counties across the country will probably have a very similar proposal going into 2025. But here's the, in a nutshell, what's going on. The Oklahoma State Department of Education, they've quietly, nothing is quiet anymore with TikTok, but they've quietly proposed a rule that would require students to provide proof of citizenship upon their enrollment in school. And the rule specifically mandates that schools will report the number of students who are unable to provide such proof due to their immigration status or their citizenship status. According to that State Department of Education, the proposed rule is, here's the rationale for this. They'd like to assess the educational needs, such as language barriers, the need for ESL, English as a second language, teachers, and funding requirements. That's the rationale that they are given for this. And they say here that the rule specifies that no individual student's citizenship or immigration status will be recorded. They're looking for a number, right? They want some ballpark figure, right? They want to know how many, but they would not be reporting on the individual students who are not who are undocumented or who are illegal in their system. And so, guys, just to go back a little bit to 1982, there's a Supreme Court decision that some of you might be aware of, which provides that undocumented students have a right to access public education. And while it remains illegal to ask for a student's immigration status directly, the Department of Education in Oklahoma believes that the rule aligns with state and federal laws, and the state attorney general's office has already confirmed that the proposal is legal. Now, what are people saying about this? Critics, of course, are arguing that this rule could instill fear in immigrant families and deter them from enrolling their children in school, which would potentially reduce school funding from the feds and harm the educational quality of the that other students are receiving, because as you guys know, it's a numbers game. Okay, they want to know, okay, how many people are in our school system, and based on the number, of course, it's aligned with dollars that they receive from Washington. And so what we do know that's been reported, approximately 60% of Oklahoma City public schools, 33,000 students, identify as Hispanic. Many of them are part of a mixed status family unit. Maybe a parent is a U.S. citizen and the other is not. Or maybe a child is a U.S. citizen and the parents are not. Critics also warn that the rule could exacerbate challenges that these families face, reducing enrollment, creating logistical nightmare and legal hurdles for the district. However, there is, and my colleague just shared it with me, so let me see if I could pull it up here. They're given the public time, of course, to weigh in on this. There's a public comment period that's open now. Okay, it's open now until January 17th, and they're also going to have a hearing on this matter as well. And they're going to vote on it. Once it's voted on, it's going to be voted on the local level first, after the comment period is over, and then it's going to go to the legislature for consideration, and then eventually to the government. And so again, I think other counties across the country, particularly and maybe in the Bible Belt, right, the southern states, are going to say, "Oh, that's a good idea." Right, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, who knows? We'll see. I just think that it's going to catch on, and but I guess it depends on how things really progress after this public comment period. So that's what's going on in Oklahoma, guys. That's a very big news. I know you also probably heard yesterday. President-elect Trump gave a big speech at a big conservative conference in which he was reiterating mass deportation and the use of the military and things like that. You could read about that elsewhere. I won't cover it. Nothing very new came out of that. So let's go right into your immigration questions at this time. Hey there, Yusuf. Thank you. Come on in. All right, thank you. If you want join in on Facebook, certainly share this with your feed. Freedom Now, Annie, thank you. Let's see. Okay. First question comes from Ibarra. Any further updates on Biden helping any immigrant groups? Husband has a waiver approval. Now we are waiting for his appointment. Will appointments take longer under Trump? Yes, I do think that things will slow down under Trump, generally speaking, because there will be a lot of policy changes that will eventually come to, the point of slowing things down. As far as updates about Biden helping any immigrant groups, I covered recently that they're looking to help folks with DACA. The Senate Democrats propose ideas that they'd like the Biden administration to really move forward with before he leaves office. Some things they've done, like with the green card automatic, they finalized a rule that would give automatic extend the green card period from 180 days to 540 days, the renewal process. But for DACA holders and others, I'm still waiting on some very specific news. Give me one moment here. Let's see. Let me confirm something. All right. EAD, I think it's the EAD, not the green card. Hold on one second. I already have the holiday mind. Okay, I've partially checked out, guys. Not green card renewals. Yeah, I think it might be the EADs. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you. I see your Insta. You're playing Jamaican music. Are you? Yes, I'm Jamaican. Yes, I'm Jamaican. That's someone who's been in my stories. Follow my stories on Instagram and TikTok, especially now. I've been sharing a lot of behind the scenes lately, and we'll be doing more of that over the holiday break. Um, okay, serious question. Let's get serious again. How long does it take to remove someone on voluntary departure from the from the Louisiana detention center? So once you normally, I don't know specifically actually from the Louisiana detention center how long it takes them to process people. Normally, though, it's a very fast process if someone is detained and they have signed some paperwork saying that they prefer to go home rather than stay here and fight the immigration case because the judge did not approve the case. So typically they deport you very quickly thereafter. And I do want to make a correction here about the 540 days. My colleague has confirmed that it was with respect to the EAD, not the green card automatic extension. It's the work permit. Okay, 540 days. Okay, thank you. Um, okay, Anita says a lawyer refused to take my case because I received a deportation order after requesting voluntary departure. And she said that um, this type of deportation or in absentia cannot be closed in court. Is that true? So if you had received voluntary departure, that means usually you have appeared in court, you've cooperated with the process, and this is what's been offered to you, and you've accepted it. And if you stay in the United States, it then turns into a removal order if you do not leave by the date stated in the document. And so I don't know where you're getting the whole in absentia part from. In absentia removal orders are usually issued if an individual did not appear in court. Okay, thank you. Um, I submitted my I-751 last year. I received my letter of 48 months extension. Should I send in the N400? You could send in the N400 once you're at that 2.9-year period of being a resident, and you're still together with your spouse and things are good and you have evidence of you guys still being together and living together in marital unity. Okay, thank you guys. Can asking immigration questions on channels like yours on YouTube, even if I can asking immigration questions on channels like yours on YouTube, even if I don't expose my name, harm me? So, you, I don't think so. Obviously, I don't think so. Um, you're Here's what the whole social media crackdown um, can work with the government. First of all, even today, right now, as they're adjudicating cases, USCIS is looking at cases. Of course, for some individuals, they do then jump on Facebook to check things out, to see, okay, what does this individual have up on his or her page? And do we see anything here that contradicts with what this individual is alleging here? Typically in marriage cases, this is where they sometimes find some fraud. Now, if you have a very secure setup with Facebook, for instance, in which only your friends can see what you're posting, well, in order for the government to get around that, they will need some sort of subpoena to Facebook in order to get more access to your records or your posts. Now, in a forum like this one, always, not always, but sometimes when I remember, I tell you guys, be very careful about what you're posting, especially here, because we're visible, right? Like highly visible. And so you got to be careful and use wisdom and not put too much information out there, because certainly it can be, you guys aren't the only ones watching, right? Let's just put it that way. So be careful about what you share on channels like this and other channels, generally speaking. All right, thank you. That was an excellent question. I do expect more social media monitoring to happen during the second Trump term. They started on that before they left. They weren't successful in going as far as they really wanted to go, but I expect that they will pick that up again once they're back in office. Are administratively closed cases, Anastasio is asking, are administratively closed cases with asylum pending safe from getting picked up by ICE, especially if you have a very clean record and zero criminal background? I think the cases that are closed by the court, administratively closed, I think those cases are safe. You do not have a removal order. Okay, you have your asylum application that's pending. If you are ever detained by ICE, you show proof that you're still in court. You have a right to keep things going and reopen your case, get your case recalendared so that your asylum case can be considered by the immigration judge. I have heard through, I was at the AILA conference last week Monday, and a question did come up by the lawyers about they've, like maybe one or two, I don't know the numbers, but a very, 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 very small number of people were involved in were targeted by ICE, despite the fact that they have administrative closure. And they concluded at this conference, there was a brief discussion about this, that this was a very, very rare occurrence. So I don't expect them to be able to take you all the way, right? Because you have rights. The ones who are more vulnerable certainly are those who already have the removal order, because you've already seen the judge, you've already gone through the process. But for others like you're still going through the process. All right. Thank you. I submitted my VAWA case in May 2022. How long before I receive any decision on my case? I received my second EAD in 2024. VAWA, Alicia, usually takes about 3 years for them to adjudicate. Hey there, Maria. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Let's see. Come on in, guys. Okay, here's a question from Joyce. Joyce says that I am a green card holder. I filed for my husband in 2022. I would have to look at my other screen here. And they say that we are working on his papers since October 2023. How long will it take for all of that to finalize? Is your spouse, Joyce, here in the United States, or is he abroad? Because that will make a difference with respect to how long the case will go on. But what I'm trying to pull up here, and maybe what you can do is you can just check the visa bulletin for January. It usually takes about a couple of years now in that F2A category. Let's see if I could get it pulled up here. And for you, this is since 2022. You're getting very close to the priority date. Has your priority date come up yet? That's always the question. Let's see something here. I see the January visa bulletin is showing January 2022. So they're in 2022. So I suspect that you will be hearing from the government very soon with your case. I'm also asking that you guys do not spam. Okay, do not spam us. We'll have to put you in timeout if you ask your question multiple times. Thank you. For any questions about which address to use as you're filing petitions or applications, please check uscis.gov and check their specific instructions for that petition or application, and that will tell you. Yes, that will tell you exactly what you need to know, because I don't have the address off the top of my head. Go do the research, okay? So that you make sure that you'll get it done right. You don't want it to be rejected, all right? Um, my husband earns $80,000 a year, but I don't work because I'm a stay-at-home mom. Do I need to be working after my provisional waiver is approved? Is what he makes enough for immigration to prove for me? So Andrea, once your waiver is approved and your case goes over to the visa center, yes, at that point they're going to require your husband to submit the affidavit of support and show that he could file for you, and 80,000 is more than enough to carry you all the way until the end of this process. All right. How safe are we naturalized citizens? I think naturalized citizens are going to be fine. There will be just a few of you who the government might try to put in denaturalization proceedings for various reasons. I have a video out on denaturalization and how it works. So if you're concerned about that, watch that video to educate yourself. But I think most everyone is fine and safe from denaturalization. Okay, come on in, guys. Say hello and where you're watching from today. Thank you for joining me. Let's see. I won't be with you next Monday. I'll be on break, holiday. Okay, I'll be back on January 6th. What is the wait time once papers are submitted to the visa center for an interview to be scheduled? Dana, it depends on which city. Where are you going to be interviewed at, right? That it's there. It depends on that city. For some people, they could hear back once your case has been documentarily qualified by the visa center. For some people, they might even the following month they might even get their date. For other people, it's a few months, and then for others, it's more than a year. It really just depends on your embassy and how quickly they're moving. Will Trump cancel the birthright citizenship? Is that possible? Junia is asking. I've spoken quite a bit about birthright citizenship, and it's possible for birthright citizenship to go all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court for their consideration, and it will happen in the following way. Someone in the Senate I'm sorry, let's back up. He on day one, he will have his executive order, which says that certain federal agencies should not recognize children born of parents who are illegal in the United States, not unless one of the parent is a green card holder or a U.S. citizen. And then immediately the ACLU most likely will file a lawsuit to challenge it and say that's not right, that's illegal, that's not how it works. We cannot do it that way. And so then the Trump administration will say, fine, thank you so much for this lawsuit. Let's go into court and battle this out. And then it goes into court, and then whatever the decision is on the federal court level, there will be an appeal challenge in whatever the decisions will be until it goes all the way up before Clarence Thomas, Amy, Roberts, the other ones, right, for their Alito and others for their consideration. And so they're going to look at this issue at that point. That's how he's going to trigger a review of birthright citizenship, and it's going to come right down to the Supreme Court. It's not going to happen, in my opinion, through the legislative process. It's just too difficult of a process for it to happen legislatively. They will still start it, I think, in the Senate. Someone is going to introduce a proposal to amend the constitutional amendment, make a constitutional amendment related to birthright citizenship, but I think that's not going to go anywhere. It's going to happen through the litigation and court process. Okay. And I'm of the view that children born here, and so is this government, that children who are born here in the United States have a natural allegiance to the United States, and the United States then protects you. And that's the way it works. That's the relationship between the country and those born here. So we'll see what this Supreme Court says about it, but it's going to be a slow, long process. This is not going to happen overnight. All right, let's keep going. Can your employer sponsor you to get a green card? Allison is asking. Yes, for many people, they can get it through their employer. It depends on what the job is. It depends on your immigration history. Are you here? Have you overstayed? Do you have parents here who are green card holders or a U.S. citizen? There are so many things that goes into it if you had overstayed. But for many people, an employer can sponsor them. Let's see. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Let's keep going. Freedom Now, Dennis, I see you. Thank you. I have a removal order from 2 months ago. I have a removal order, but 2 months ago, I filed a U visa case. Will I still get deported? Malik is asking. Malik, you have a good argument to make that you're in process through this U visa process, and that's the argument that an attorney can make for you. But just per se, in certain petitions like an I-130, it just depends on your background too. I don't know if with your U visa case you had included a waiver to cover anything in particular that could make you extremely vulnerable to being detained by the government. You could have a discussion with us privately, one-on-one, to see what could be, to assess your risk level there, okay? To assess your risk level. Thank you, guys. Let's see. My daughter has already turned 22, but I'm not so sure if I qualify for the I-45 adjustment of status because of my last entry to the U.S. in 2014. Well, you said your last entry, right? Do you have multiple entries that were illegal? If so, you could potentially be permanently barred, but you could contact us, meet with us to see what your story is, and what your travel history has been like to the US, to see whether it's questionable or not. Will work permit extension work for TPS if TPS isn't renewed? Worried about El Salvador? I'm not certain. I'm actually really not certain how they're going to treat the work permit issue and TPS. I can't even speculate on that one. Let's see, let me go down just a little bit. F4 category, the government is up to 2007 for most countries, 2006 for India, 2001 still for Mexico. But again, Mexico, if you're in that F4 category and you're here in the United States and you had a sibling who filed an I-130 for you before April, right? Before April 30th, 2001, you will be eligible to adjust your status under Section 245I amnesty. So that's the good news actually for the F4 category that I could share. And then Philippines, it's 2004, so it's still very, very slow. It's awful. Okay. Arlene says, did you hear about the new law? If you have marriage fraud, the judge can't reverse it. So Arlene, I have a video coming out tomorrow about that U.S. Supreme Court decision. And in the video, I break it down for you guys to explain what happened in that case, and the remedies that are still available to that couple, because that couple still has another remedy that they have started on, and what that case means. It's a narrow decision. Even if a person's case, when a person's case is denied by USCIS, you still will have that right to take that denial for a federal court review process. But if it was revoked, the I-130 was approved, then later USCIS comes in and say, we're revoking it. This is a visa revocation. Well, that's entirely discretionary, and that's up to DHS to determine, not the federal courts. They don't have the jurisdiction. They're stripped of their jurisdiction in those instances. However, the couple can still refile an I-130, and USCIS can make another decision on that. And if that petition is denied, the couple can seek judicial review of that denial. So it's a little tricky. It's very technical, but watch the video tomorrow. Okay, it's coming out tomorrow. It's ready. It's edited. Everything's set to go. The DHS Supreme Court decision. Okay, thank you for asking that. Hey there, Tommy. Tommy says that Freedom Now, in the name of Jesus, my I-601A has been approved. What's next? Well, congratulations. That's great. What's next for you is this. You've got to finish up your consular process and get in the queue for an embassy interview abroad, okay? So work with your lawyer on that, or you could contact us. We'd be happy to walk you through those steps. But congratulations on getting that 601A waiver approval. I have a master hearing in June 2025 for cancellation of removal. Any advice? Well, first advice is to get a lawyer if you don't already have a lawyer. Secondly, I'm curious about the cancellation of removal process that you've mentioned here. Have do you have a application that you've already filed, a cancellation application? And if so, what made you do it? Are you eligible for it? Those kinds of things. If you'd like us to go further, you could definitely meet with us to discuss your upcoming hearing. And I'd also want to know, is this your first master calendar hearing or not? Okay. How much would a new case in immigration court cost? It depends on what type of case you're going to have. Removal is very expensive on the legal fees side of it. It is very expensive. It doesn't even matter where you're located in the country. If you're going through removal, you're going to have, it's a lot of money that you would be paying an attorney to help you through that process. I'm not sure specifically what other costs you're looking for there, because attorney fees vary. Okay. This is a great question. If you close your removal case, do they cancel your work authorization? Well, it depends on what kind of case. So yes, if you have a dismissal, if the case was dismissed, it's over. You're no longer in the courts, under their jurisdiction. You don't fear or have that threat of deportation hanging over you anymore. It's over. If that's the case, then whatever application you had on file in court that allowed you to get a work permit, it's over with that too. So you're not eligible to renew your work permit. But if your case has been administratively closed, that's a very different process. It still means that you're in deportation proceedings. However, the court will not schedule a hearing for you. You're off the docket, you're off the radar, so to speak, and you can continue to renew your work permit as long as your application in court remains there and your case is administratively closed. So that's the big difference there. And we might clip this and send this Q&A to everybody else. I like that question. Thank you. Felicia is asking, can you do VAWA if you've been divorced more than 2 years? So the cutoff is up to 2 years after divorce, right? Up to 2 years. However, if you're in removal, there is no, you could even do it several years later, or much longer than that, because through special VAWA cancellation of removal, you're able to do it despite the fact that you've been divorced for quite some time. Do you think Trump will revoke TPS or let it end at whatever the period is, and not renew it? I think that they will try to let it just, sunset. I think that they're going to try to get it sunset. Okay, have it sunset, because it's more work, I think, in having to try to revoke it. That's the only reason why I'm thinking they might allow it to just sunset. You're very welcome, Alicia. Alicia. Alcia. Gosh. Alcia. And I have a sister by that name as well. It just clicked that it's Alcia. Okay. Alcia. Curious if you're a Jamaican too, Alcia. Um, let's see. All right, Lazo, thank you for letting me know. So good luck with that, with your N400. I wish you well with that. If you need any assistance with it, certainly reach out to our office. After receiving my 10-year green card through marriage, is it mandatory to withdraw my pending asylum case? Your pending asylum, so you have your green card. You don't need the asylum case anymore. Is it pending? Where is it pending? At USCIS level? Because, yeah, you should. If you have your green card, there's no need for that. I would withdraw that. Let's see. And by the way, as I provide information tips on this channel, just know that I'm doing it with a very narrow view of your circumstances. I do not see the full picture. There's so much more to learn. So the responses that I'm giving are just general information only. So I just want to make mention of that. Work with one-on-one with someone who knows your circumstances and sees the full picture, and allow that individual to tell you when you can withdraw your case, whether you should withdraw a case or not. So I just want to add that little disclaimer out there. Thank you. Hey there, Nikki. Yes, it's always productive around here, even Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go down. We may have to, there's a spammer here that we may have to, I don't know if we're going to have to ban. Hold on a second. We might have to ban. So I've answered the question already. Okay. All right. Let's keep going, guys. Nicholas says that my wife is intimidating me. Is it wrong to divorce her? So whatever decision, the divorce, that's going to be your personal decision to make. As far as on immigration, the immigration side of things, I would want to know, Nicholas, what forms of intimidation are you facing, and how frequent? Are they coupled by threats of calling immigration on you, or is she trying to extort money out of you, right? Extortion is a very significant problem and a crime. Is there any mental or emotional abuse or mind games or tricks in the marriage that is really, really hurting you emotionally? These are things that we would really look into to find out whether you can move forward with your case on your own. But as far as whether to divorce her or not, clients always make that decision on their own. Individuals can move forward with a VAWA case for victims of domestic violence, even if they are divorced. But again, up to 2 years after the divorce. You only get up to 2 years after the divorce. All right. Let's keep going. What does it mean when the judge has granted you asylum, but the government wants to appeal it? The government is challenging that decision. They did not agree with the judge on that. That's what it means. Um, is it safe? Let me back. Let me. Um, can anyone still apply for immigration to the U.S.? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Immigration is not going to shut down, okay? What will shut down immediately is the border on day one for those who are on foot trying to get through the U.S. to the U.S. via San Diego or Mexico. That's what will shut down immediately, and that's clear. But as far as being able to apply for a green card or a visa, you'll still be able to do all of those things, okay? You'll still be able to do it. All right. Trish says, Merry Christmas, Freedom Now. Do you have any success story of U.S. citizen child filing for an undocumented parent? And do the parent always have to leave the United States to complete the process? Trish, in most cases, the parent is able to get the green card here because the parent is an immediate relative of that U.S. citizen, adult son or daughter, right? Um, but if a person's entry to the U.S. was without any form of inspection or detection, you have no landing papers, then then that individual won't be able to get the green card through the child's or the adult son or daughter successfully. In that case, if eligible, the parent will need to do a waiver and leave the United States. Unless there's another way for the parent to get the green card, if the parent might be eligible through Section 245I amnesty, or if the adult son or daughter is in the military. That's what could really help. The parole in place, PIP, military parole in place, or PIP. That could help the parent who had entered the United States without inspection. They would get this parole and then they could adjust their status. That's discretionary, however. The entire process, parole in place, is discretionary, and the government reviews these on a case by case, approves them on a case by case basis. And yes, we do have success stories related to issues of a lot more complex issues than the question that you've actually asked me here. Go to McBeanlaw.com/success. We are at the end. We have two more success stories to share. Is it two or one? I think it's just one, actually. We have our big one. Yeah, it's just one. So we have our success story of the year, 2024 success story will be out next Sunday. It's the best one, in my opinion. And so we'll be sharing it next Sunday, and I'll be doing a video. You'll see a video about it as well. So check us out on our McBeanlaw.com/success, because the success stories are usually published there several days later as well. How many things could be protected from Trump's deportation? How many things? I'm not certain what you mean by that. I'm not sure. So if you're talking about ways to protect yourself from deportation, I do have videos out there about that subject, and you could also go to TikTok where you will see many of those as well, or Instagram. But to protect yourself from deportation in a nutshell, you need to have something that you're pointing to that shows that you have status here, like you're a citizen or a green card holder. And if you don't have that, well, what do you have? Do you have TPS, temporarily, DACA, okay, temporary as well? Do you have anything filed for you, anything in the works? Are you in the process with a motion to reopen a removal case? Do you have something pending at the BIA, right? or do you have an appeal pending somewhere? What do you have that you can show that you're on track to gaining that lawful status? That's what can help to protect you from removal during the Trump years. But if you have a very serious criminal record, then you will not be protected despite those things. The criminal record, unless it's a U visa or a T visa case with a waiver that covers like like a very serious felony. Um, if you have a serious felony, you will not be protected during his years. Okay, let's see. Um, okay, if during COVID you had a baby on your visitor's visa because the borders were closed, should you file an I-601? Well, having the baby is that's not a problem for immigration, um, generally speaking. I don't know any other details related to, that, but generally speaking, having a baby as a visitor is not usually a big problem. The I-601 is for people who intentionally committed fraud or intentionally misrepresented something very serious, a serious fact. Many visitors obviously have children here in the United States, and they're able to get their green card successfully and are US citizens today. So I'm curious as to why you're connecting the I-601 with this particular process. We could talk more about that privately, one-on-one, if you'd like. Okay, let's see. Um, Any clue what will happen to those who apply for Biden's Keeping Family Together and the fees they paid? I don't have any idea what they're going to do with that. I'm also waiting for an update from USCIS related to that. Okay. Let's see. Merry Christmas, MJ. Thank you. Let's keep going. Let's see. Hold on a second. Is she gone? Let me know. All right, let's see. Okay. Myra, can an employer petition for a person who overstayed their visa? The employer can certainly start that process for the visa overstay, and the visa overstay can get like the labor certification approved. They could even get a I-140 approved. But as far as getting the green card here, that at this time, that's a no because of the overstay. But what they can do, they'll need a waiver if they're eligible for it. If they have like a parent who is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, they would be eligible for the waiver. And once it's approved, they could go to the U.S. Embassy to finish the process. It's so convoluted. Every time I speak about it, I think, ugh, it's so convoluted, right? It's very red tape-ish, so much red tape. Thank you, Francesca. Share with us. You make us understand immigration easier. I'm glad to hear that. That's good. That's good. So someone says, ICE has asked me to come in with my passport. I don't have it. What should I do before that time? I think that you should have a one-on-one with an attorney about that situation, okay? Let's see. See if I could get a few more in before I go. Okay, she's gone. Great. DACA, I don't have any updates on DACA yet. I'm waiting to see what the Biden administration is going to do with certain requests that are in related to DACA. Is getting your degree in the U.S. a pathway to a green card? It could be for some people. Yes, it's actually the way that some people get their green card. They come here as students, F1, and they maintain that status. For some of them, they then transition to a work visa, and then their employer files for them for the green card. So that's how it happens for some people. For other people, they could come here and lawfully and stay in status under a visa, and for some of them, they could do the national interest waiver. And for others, they could get the E, if they're eligible for the E visa, they could come in and under the E, then they could try to transition self-petition under national interest waiver. It just really all depends on the circumstances, but it is absolutely possible. Now, if you're asking, well, what about if you know what Trump is saying about the fact that he wants any folks who graduate from a college here in the U.S. to get a green card, that's a very unrealistic thing to expect because it's very complex. Um, Particularly if they've overstayed their visa. I mean, a lot of rules and laws will need to be changed significantly in order to allow something like that to happen. What is the next step if your I-130 is approved? The next step for people who are here in the United States is, are they eligible to adjust their status? And if the answer is yes, then an I-45 will be filed for adjustment of status. If they are abroad, then the next step in the process is the NVC Visa Center process to do a visa application, submit some financial documents and some other things, and then be interviewed at a U.S. embassy abroad. Do you help people in other states? Yes, as a matter of fact, we have a lot of clients all across the US and in different countries as well. Okay. Okay, we're going to wrap up momentarily. Guys, as I've said earlier, I will not be with you next Monday. I'll be off for the holidays, but I will be back before you on January 6th, okay? On Monday, January 6th, I will be back before you. Okay, here's a super chat question. I've lived in the United States for 10 years. I entered on a B1, B2 visa and have overstayed. My mom, now a U.S. citizen, filed an I-130 for me as her married son. I have 3 U.S. citizen children. Can I adjust my status here? You can adjust your status through through one of your children, I should say, once that child turns 21. Through your parent, the government will not allow you to adjust as a visa overstay. An adult who's married, you're in the F3 category, right? And so in that F3 category, the priority date is pretty much, it's way out there, right? According to the visa bulletin, it takes more than 10 years in order to for your priority date to be ready, or a visa to be ready for you through your mom. So I don't know how old the children are, but if one of them will turn 21 before your priority date becomes current through your mom, then that's the pathway for you. Okay, to get the green card through a relative. All right. Let's see. Merry Christmas, Carol. Good to see you. Thank you. See, I knew it. I knew it. Alcia. It's the name. It's all in the spelling. Dead giveaway for me. You know, I knew it based on your spelling. See, let's keep going. I just got my citizenship. Your video really helped us. Kudos. Congratulations, Wima. That's great. I just got married to a U.S. citizen. How can I get you, ma'am? So, gift, the way that you would do it is you can reach out to us at 914-898-9488 to book a consultation, and we'd be happy to meet with you and your spouse. Congratulations, and go through some things about your background and then get you started. Quote you some fees, of course, and then get you started, okay? So you can contact us for that. That's great. Let's see. Okay. I do I have to submit the form I-765 with my U visa application or wait until I get the bona fide determination approved? So our strategy has been to submit the I-765 with our U visa application. That's how we've been doing it. It's just a faster process because once the determination is made, then the work permit comes shortly thereafter. So it minimizes the delay that our clients experience. Okay, so I see that it's your first master calendar hearing. You can reach out to us if you would like to discuss your case further and what to expect in immigration court when you go to your hearing in June of 2025. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off. Thank you for a wonderful year. Thank you. Wow, you guys really helped to revive the channel. You had gotten back into it, and most importantly, you helped to energize me so that I could get back into it. You guys are the best. Thank you for defending me. Thank you for sticking with me over the years. Thank you for trusting us at McBean Law. Thank you for just always being here. I just want to give a heartfelt thanks to you guys, and I really look forward to seeing you in 2025 feeling refreshed and ready to go and to take on this Trump administration. Believe me, I'm looking forward to putting on my gloves, okay? So I need some rest over the next 2 weeks so I could come back super energized for you because it's going to be a ride. We're in it together. I am so totally committed to you. I'm committed to giving you information, even if it means I stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning, right? After I'm on live with you late at night. I'm committed to giving you that information, and I thank you for your trust and your loyalty. You guys are the best. God bless you. Be safe. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas, and check out tomorrow's video, my last upload of the year, and it's on the U.S. Supreme Court decision about visa revocations in marriage fraud cases. So check that out, guys. I love you. Thank you so much, and I will see you in 2025. Bye-bye.